Collin, what's up?
Georgia, I need to get into the crime prevention building. I left all my podcast stuff and we're recording tonight. Can you let me in?
Actually, I can just let you in on my app. Hang on. There you go. You can go on in.
I love that she can let me in with the app. That is so cool. All right. Yes. Oh, yep. Thank you so much. You're the best.
Since 1975, crime prevention has helped to protect homes, families, and businesses. Stay in touch with your business from anywhere with their app. View cameras, control your thermostat, even access control. Worry less and connect more with crime prevention.
You are listening to WHOA Podcast, coming to you from Gainesville, Florida. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the WHOA GNV Podcast, the Coronavirus Sessions, and I hit record this time. Getting into this Zoom format has definitely been a trial for the second time in over 100-something episodes. I forgot to hit record, and so now we are hitting record a few minutes in. You guys, just to reiterate everything that's going on, what we're doing is that we're doing daily sessions at noon, about a half hour, with business owners, business leaders, business professionals, and members of the community, talking about how we're navigating this coronavirus stuff. There's been a lot of interesting things that have happened in our community, and I just believe that with our efforts together, coming together, sharing stories, and really just seeing how everybody else is navigating this, that we're going to be able to, one, take nuggets from it and do what we feel is best for our own companies and really get through this together as a community. So Mike and I are definitely heavily focused on limiting the number of businesses that go out of business and limiting the number of people who are going to get laid off because of this thing. So if this podcast will help in contributing to that, then I will call it a success after this thing has come and gone. So really want to get right into it. Before we do, I want to just give a shout out to our sponsors. You guys know that we can't do this without sponsorship. If you are a small business and would like to sponsor one of these podcasts, through these coronavirus sessions, we're doing discounted sessions because we want discounted sponsorships because we want to provide value to our small business audience out there. And, but at the same time, that helps us, pay our team and get through this as well. So, today's episode is brought to you by Crime Prevention Security Systems. Man, they've been such a great sponsor throughout the first quarter of this year. You guys, they will keep you and your family safe and your business safe. Really cool technology where you have an app. You can if I needed to let somebody in at the dealership, I could do so through an app. I could just press a button and let somebody into the building, which would be really, really cool. So allowing that accessibility, especially for those business owners that are working remote and stuff right now. I mean, think about it. That would be a great way to do it. Plus, if you left the AC on, super hot, super cold or something, and you forgot to turn it down, you could just go do it through the app. Isn't that cool, Mike? I just think I think it's the most mind-blowing thing.
What a world, man.
What a world. But you guys definitely check them out at cpss.net. Please support our sponsors. And if you are looking for security for your residents or for your business, definitely give Crime Prevention Security Systems a shout. Again, that's cpss.net. And now I want to get right into the show and welcome my friend again, Larry Hartfield from Hartfield Insurance. Larry, thanks for being here today, man. Thanks for joining us on the show.
My pleasure. Good to see you again.
So for our audience, go ahead and just give a brief background about what you do here in Gainesville, how long you've been in business, that kind of stuff.
I've been in Gainesville 30 some odd years. Hartfield Insurance started about 10 years ago. We're a broad line, all lines. So we'll do anything from life insurance to auto and everything in between. We try to really cover our clients' needs very broadly. Years ago, Joe Cerulli helped me with my tagline because he knows I taught the martial arts and helped self-defense. And he went, perfect segue. Now you can help people with their financial self-defense. So I got to give Joe really credit for giving that perspective. So yeah, I help people, protect their assets. And also I teach the martial arts and try to help them with how to avoid problems like not going downtown and getting drunk in the middle of the night. So, there's risk management on all levels. But I've been in Gainesville quite some time and just love this town and really appreciate being here.
Yeah, I love it, man. So what's been the biggest, impact since all this started going down a few weeks ago? Like what changes have you had to make in your business? I mean, what's been going on since it really came to fruition?
Mm-hmm. Well, in our business, I geared up so that I got set up at my home. But again, I'm lucky where I can utilize telephone, telephone, computers and such. So I'm electronic. So being set up at home was quite easy to do. Don't need that much. So if for some reason we were really shut down and I couldn't leave and come to the office, I've been able to come to the office, but there's nobody here. So I'm able to keep my social distancing, but still get to the office and retrieve a file that invariably I would have forgot. So that hasn't impacted me nearly as much as so many people I see around town who had to shut down. Again, we talk about the restaurant owners, we talk about other small business owners. They're very, very affected, and it's really a drag. But what's wonderful is to see efforts which you're creating right now is to get word out and have this team effect where many of us are trying to do what little we can to help everybody as much as we can, even if it's buying gift certificates that are places that are closed right now and use them later. With restaurants, gift certificates, drop off, pickup, delivery, things like that have been very, very, very helpful. So it's just nice to see that there's a banding together in this community that's just hopefully gives hope to many of the folks that are just in a very tough situation.
Yeah, no, it's definitely been, for me, that's been the most inspiring part. I think when we look at unfortunate situations like this, and I've talked about it before. I don't know if I talked about it on the podcast, but even reflecting back to the days of 9/11 and the tragedies that we saw then. I mean, there's always this sense of, community that comes from that, and everybody really pulling together, really, looking for opportunities to serve somebody else. And for me, that's the goodness that comes from these type of situations. It's always difficult to find the light in the darkness, but that's definitely it, and I reiterate the stuff at the restaurants, and I hope we can really, not only restaurants, but just all the businesses, I hope we can do everything we can to really keep them in business, come together as a community. Like you said, buy gift cards. I think it's a great way to do so. Even in the first episode that we talked about, Mike and I kind of talked about, gym memberships and stuff like that. If you can keep paying, I know you're not using the facilities, but if you can keep paying your gym memberships, then please do it, because people's pay depends on it. Just those kind of things. And I think it's just a community effort and doing everything that you can personally to do your part and to contribute to it. So I think you're right. And then you also talked to, in the episode that I forgot to hit record on, you're saying a lot of great things about the Chamber of Commerce. And, I think, you want to elaborate on that a little bit?
I'd be happy to. Being a member of the Chamber, they're doing amazing things. I think they have done a great job over the years, but more recently, the information that they've been getting out to us, the emails that we've been receiving, the links to additional information, helping the small businesses find out where there is information, helping to guide them to find out how to apply for some of these financial assistance opportunities out there. I think the chamber is really serving the community unbelievably well right now. I think the city is doing a great job too. There was a broadcast meeting last week, maybe it was Friday, that broadcast over one of the TV stations, just trying to let people call in and ask questions and get information. I just think that the community has, rose to the occasion as best possible to provide information as best possible, because when you're lost, all you want is a place to go, a direction, a direction. So I think, again, the chamber, in my opinion, the chamber has done a terrific job in getting as much information as they can get out quickly, so that everybody's staying on top of it, and it's got to help. It's got to help.
Yeah, I mean, I think the newsletters have been awesome. I mean, you're talking multiple communications to per day. I think I've been receiving like 2 or 3 of them per day with a lot of relevant information. And we talked, like, the other thing that the chamber has done has, like, they instantly went into that mode for the restaurants, creating the Eat GNV Facebook page, and it grew quickly to 3,000 plus people in that group or that page, and like just really showing a lot of love and support for the restaurants, and doing everything that they can to get them one additional exposure, to inform people like who's open, who's not, what services they're offering, links to gift cards, everything else. I mean, just the action that they took, like, quickly. I think very often when you look at large, like organizations like the Chamber of Commerce or the city, or even like a lot of times it feels like it takes forever for information to get out there, or it's just a slow process for action to actually happen. They did a really great job of taking action immediately when this thing started happening and creating that page. And I think that Eat GNB page on Facebook was a great example of the quick action that they took. So definitely mad props to the Chamber of Commerce. Thank you for everything that you're doing for the business community, especially right now. We're seeing the value that the Chamber of Commerce delivers to small businesses in the area. So super grateful for that. Mike, you got anything, man?
Yeah, so I've got a curiosity, and definitely agree with everything you just said about the chamber. But so, Larry, I'm curious, like, from a consumer standpoint and claims, like, how does a stay-home order affect this? Like, obviously, there should be less people commuting, so there should be theoretically less auto claims. Is that true? Are people staying at home causing more issues where there might be more homeowner claims? Like how has that changed in the weeks that the stay-home orders and stuff have existed?
I truly don't have any data on that. Yes, if traffic's lighter, then there's got to be less accidents. I haven't had anybody calling and saying, I didn't have an accident this week that I expected to have because I had to stay home. I haven't, I don't have a claim. I burned out my house because I was cooking, and I don't normally cook. So, so I don't have any data on that. It's brand new. Everything is so brand new that I'll be happy to share it with you as it comes down the pike. Family units are together. I would imagine more emotionally they might be getting a little aggravated with each other, and things could happen at home, but those don't usually affect the insurance per se. That might be a call the police issue because my wife's getting on my nerves or something, but I don't have any data. I really don't.
Okay. That'll be interesting to see. It's just something I thought of as we were talking about this, as this goes on, how that's affected. One of the things we were talking about in the earlier recording, well, not recording, was is there going to be coronavirus insurance in the future? Like, is that something that the insurance industry will plan for and start to adapt to?
I think so. When you watch the insurance industry, how it has changed and grown over the many decades, hundreds of years that insurances have been around, everything is changing. Needs change, situations change. and the insurance company is in the business of helping people to protect their assets, protect their monies. And so, as I was mentioning earlier, a more current type of protection now that's becoming more popular, more needed, is the cyber protection, where people were getting hacked and businesses were getting hacked, and that created a financial problem. So insurance companies started to investigate more ways of helping businesses to avoid cyber theft and cyber interactions. And if they couldn't, then there's recourse to help with some of the expenses incurred with if someone hacked into your files and created a problem. So that's just an example of something that really wasn't thought about many years ago. Even nowadays, when people are getting many emails with all this information, some of that information, if you click on and open it up, you could easily be allowing a virus to get in, not a coronavirus, but you open up an unsecure link and issues can arise. So the insurance industry is always trying to figure out another way of protecting people. And sure, they're going to get paid for it because all businesses are in business to make money, but they're very savvy and they have amazing people that analyze situations. And so I would think, having gone through all this, that some sort of protection will be available. Not everybody might want to add it, but some people have business income extension expenses, and there's always what it does and what it doesn't carry. But I would think that there's going to be some level of protection available in the future, and it'll be written pretty tight, and it'll say what it does and what it doesn't cover, because that's what the insurance companies do very well. They make it real clear on what they cover, but they make it really, really, really clear on what it doesn't cover. So everything changes, and it's a growing industry, it's a growing need, and I would think that there's got to be a way that insurance companies can help the average person, because you can't always expect the government to be able to come up with $2 trillion as they have. Thank goodness for that. But yeah, I would say stay tuned and see how things unfold over the next months and years.
And for something like I was just going to say, for something like the insurance industry, when you have these big events like economic recessions and this virus, like if businesses close and have to, cancel their policies, or they don't pay them, or does that have a huge effect on what you do?
Oh, absolutely. I stay in business because of my clients who stay with me, and if they're unable to keep the coverage, then I've lost a client. Just as losing if students aren't coming in and scooters aren't being sold, it affects you. So if a business
Absolutely.
had to close because they just couldn't make it, then I've lost a person that I care about and a business that I would like to keep over and over again. So there's a trickle effect that does happen, and some of the carriers are helping people forego premium payments for a few months. You have 3 months to hold off. I think everybody is trying to help the situation, not take advantage. And hopefully, like GRU may forgive some bills coming up, and maybe landlords are being more understanding. I think everybody's trying to do their part to a certain level of degree.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's what's been super unique about this is, again, we've said it before, but like we're all relating to this in some sort of way, some sort of capacity. It's one of the things that it's one of the first times where I've seen something really impact everybody. And so there's been just more empathy when it comes to like understanding, all right, like I'm also I'm dealing with this, but I know Larry's dealing with this in some sort of capacity, and I know that all the other businesses are dealing with this in some sort of capacity, and I don't know. I guess like maybe there's a level of comfort there, and a level of just not knowing that you're not alone through this, and a level of okay, where I might contact a vendor and say, hey, like I'm really hurting right now, can you help? Where the answer may be no normally, there's probably a good chance that it's a yes, like let's figure out something, let's figure out how we can help you get through this, just because we are all going through it together, so.
Well, one thing that affects me personally is my wife's a nurse. And so she's like, every day she goes in and, she's on the front line. Now she's in a different department, but everybody's getting cross-trained. So, when things get more severe, people are going to be moving departments. And so there's, the poor thing, she's got some stress on her right now because, she has her job and she has her paycheck, but what's going to happen, at the hospital she works at, there's a lot of unknowns for everybody. And so you mentioned, there's an old expression, misery loves company. And so it is nice to know that, we're not in this all by ourselves. And yeah, it's a drag that so many people are affected, but as you mentioned, it's just maybe there is a teeny bit of comfort in that, we're all in this together, and which means we'll all get through it together.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's funny that you're talking about the fact that your wife's being cross-trained and going to be, has the possibility of working in other areas. I mean, it's I think that's going to almost become commonplace with a lot of businesses. I mean, one of the first things that I had said to our team was your ability, like, I mean, it is definitely a team effort right now. Like, we're going to have to get through this. And, if somebody gets sick, then we're going to need people to fill in. We're not going to go hire somebody else. So, the ability, I told the team, like, your ability to be flexible and, work where it's needed, is super valuable right now. So take the time to educate yourself on other aspects of the business. And I think we said that in like one of the very, very first meetings we had when this thing started to really get some traction. And I think that's going to become commonplace across businesses. I think you're going to have people who are flexible, who can work multiple positions or multiple aspects of, what they normally do, and broaden their skill set, if you will, given these circumstances. So, Mike, what else you got, brother?
It's a lot to process how all this can change so fast, and we're watching. But the interesting thing about it is how it almost puts everybody back down on the same level, because everybody has to figure out how they're going to attack this at the same time. Like, there was no blueprint on this is how you handle pandemic response, so all of us kind of get stripped down back to the same level, and you see who puts their head down and finds creative ways to evolve and keep their business open, and who pulls out their cell phones and starts creating content to kind of stay relevant and all this kind of stuff. And unfortunately, who's not, like, who doesn't have the ability, or maybe they've got personal circumstances that are stripping them from that ability to do that. But those are the businesses that are starting to close down because they're, whether it's circumstantial or they don't know how to evolve into that. So that's, I think, the biggest thing that's interesting to see is those that are coming out of this, you almost look at it like they can come out of this stronger, and a lot of these habits that are being created are going to stay. These new ways of running business, contactless, e-signatures, that takeout delivery. I think we all secretly hope that the to-go alcoholic beverages are going to be a thing in our future forever, But like, seeing these businesses evolve, I could go for an adult Happy Meal right now, I'm just saying. But seeing these businesses evolve is cool, and one of the silver linings of it. But it's just interesting to see how each individual business, whether it's a restaurant, insurance company, car dealership, anything, are taking the steps to get through this, and which of those steps might end up staying once this is hopefully in the past?
My question to you is, like, do you think, like, I guess, how can you teach somebody to be adaptable? You know, I think we live in a world that's so resistant to change, and now you're being forced to change, right? So, like, what do you guys think? Like, what ways can business leaders, business owners, really anybody, start to get comfortable with change and adaptability? Any thoughts?
I'll chime in and say, oh, go ahead, Larry.
Well, you know, change is constant. Change is constant. I mean, it just happens all the time. We resist change. We don't necessarily like change, but it happens all the time, continuously. And we get comfortable with our routine, but we do change all the time. So these extreme situations will just force people to, and I don't see there being much resistance. You know, again, change is constant and it's always evolving. And so we see certain things that we're all experiencing will become more commonplace. Working remotely, I believe, will become way more commonplace. Getting off the road, less commuting, using more of these methods of telecommunicating. We're just going to be more commonplace right now. I believe even things like drop off, picking up meals and more delivery. I mean, meal delivery has gotten ridiculously popular over the past few years of meals being picked up and dropped off. So foods being picked up and dropped off. I mean, all these things that have been gradually evolving, I think, are just going to be accelerated, but they've been happening all along. So, we resist change, but it is constant. And I think everybody kind of gets over it pretty quickly, in my opinion. Nice bird.
Yeah. Yeah. In the background, I got birds. Sorry. Mike, what do you think?
Now, can you teach adaptability? One thing that better teach it is desperation, and I think that's kind of what we're seeing. I think that when things are under a status quo, we talk about it, like, you get those people that are, I don't know if what I've got to say is important, and that's why I don't self-blog. That's why I don't create content, or I'd rather put my time and effort into these channels because it's where my comfort zone is. But now, in moments of desperation, people are, will try anything. And when you have things like the Chamber that does a good job of connecting people, and social media that does a good job connecting people, one thing I'll say is it's also contagious. You see somebody that's doing it well and gets a good idea that's niche for their business, and it's like, oh wow, that was a brilliant idea. What can I do in mine? And people start to really kind of take those ideas and use them as examples and then run with it on their own. And so I think that everybody's becoming more adaptable. I just don't know that you can teach it, but in these circumstances that we're all going through, people are becoming adaptable, and it's good to see. I think that everybody, no one wants their business to fail. No one wants their personal lives to fail, right? But watching it on social media channels and all that kind of stuff, and seeing how each person, each business is handling it and adapting to it is kind of one of the funner things of this whole circumstance to see.
That's right. It's good stuff. I like it.
The birds are back.
The birds are back because I'm speaking. I'm like trying to mute. I'm like trying to mute myself when I'm not talking, so there's not birds chirping over you. Oh man, so this is my home office. So everybody's listening. Like I've definitely spent more time on my back porch while my kids are homeschooling inside. They're usually pretty loud. I'm surprised we haven't heard from them yet on these podcasts. Yeah. But that's remote life at its finest, Michael. Okay, some of us have a wife and kids in the background on the other side of the window yelling.
Rub it in.
It's been an adventure, this homeschooling thing, which I have not personally participated in yet. I mean, I just want to be clear because like my wife will 100% see this and she'll be like, you haven't done anything, which is 100% the truth. I'm trying to navigate these podcasts and like make sure my own business is okay. So I've got plenty of other things to worry about, but seeing these teachers, I'll give a little shout out to the teachers out there, seeing them trying to adapt and navigate. Like Maddox had his first Google Classroom session yesterday, which I personally think is great, because they're going to be growing up in this world of technology, like understanding how to like navigate the screens and doing this exact thing, like where you're seeing your classmates virtually, behind their own computers is has been interesting. But I was like, oh man, that poor teacher try to get like these 6 and 7 year olds to like, okay, so Maddox, like you go ahead and hit mute while so and so talks, and I mean they'll get it, but it's been interesting to see it and watch that. So mad love to the teachers that are trying to adapt to this entire thing and get these students to summer. That's going to be a challenge in itself, but so far seems okay. This homeschooling thing is, I don't know, it'll be tricky. We'll see how it goes. But Shannon posted up something yesterday. She's like day one of homeschooling, I'm so proud to say that my kids have graduated. It's done. We're finished. Graduation is upon us. So that's pretty funny. But Larry, man, like any last things you want to say, any words of encouragement for our community before we sign off and let you go, man? And
my stepdaughter is a school teacher who had her first session teaching over the internet yesterday, or whatever method is. So it was an interesting experience for her. She was quite nervous getting set up at her home. And so, and she, at the end of the day, she reached out to my wife and gave Debbie a wonderful report on that. She survived the first one. But, the biggest thing is that we're not alone in this. There's lots of folks out there to lend an ear, give, actually I was going to say give a hug, but we can't do that right now. But emotionally, there's lots of folks out there who want to help and can help. And, remember those people that are in business, do what you can. If they're a restaurant or a massage therapist, or they have a fitness center that's kind of on limbo right now, do what you can, to help them looking down the road. And just, say your prayers to everybody, and just, be nice and be mindful of what everybody's experiencing right now, and know that it's a group effort. I just wish everybody safety, and remember, wash the hell out of your hands. That's all I got.
Amen.
So tell everybody where they can connect with you if they're looking for insurance, or you want to reach out. Where's the best place for them to go? What happened? He just left.
I don't know.
Exit.
You might have.
Well, that was awkward.
Yeah. Website is Hartfield, HartfieldInsGroup.com, HartfieldInsGroup.com. You can reach him directly at Larry at HartfieldInsGroup.com. And he's got on his website. There's links to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and let's see, what is that, Google stuff. So you can hit him up there. Larry's a great guy. Let him help you with any of your insurance needs. He's a figure here in the community, has been for a long time. So check him out.
Hey, way to save that, Michael. I'm proud of you, man. Way to you had that.
It's not my first time.
You had the information right there. And yeah, so podcast family, thank you for tuning in. I don't know what happened there. I must have hit the X or something, but appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll be bringing these to you every weekday at noon, a little half-hour session. And again, like, we could really use your support as well as a podcast. We want to keep pumping these things out for you and really keep building this community and getting through this together. Buy one of our cool podcast shirts. Michael's wearing one right now. You can get those at whoagnv.com. Become a sponsor of the show. Like, we're doing sponsorships. We really appreciate the sponsorship. So feel free to sponsor, or you can actually send a donation. If you just want to donate to our podcast, send it to me via Venmo. at Collin Austin. So that's at COLLINAUSTIN. And we greatly appreciate your support. Stay strong, Gainesville. We will get through this, and we'll keep bringing you other great community leaders to talk about their experience, and we'll navigate this thing together. Cool?
Cool, man.
So good seeing you, Mike. I'll see you a little bit later, bro.
Yep.
This is the WHOA GNV podcast, the podcast for you businesses and individuals that make you go, whoa. We'll see you later, Gainesville. Love you.